Top 10 best free legendary champions in the game, dude. Let's go ahead and give it a go at ranking these. We gotta start off this list with happy little Yannica. Incredibly potent arena nuker. Really good because it's actually quite easy to consistently work towards Yannica via clan quests. Hey, A2 is really what it's all about, right? Attacks one enemy, places a perfect Veil buff on this champ for 3 turns if this attack is critical, which, to be fair, it always should be, right, if you're itemizing correctly. And most importantly, grants an extra turn, so you get 1 free attack right away, and then you get to hit him right away with the A3 after that, man. Attacking all enemies, ignoring shield buffs. This is just crazy as hell. So the idea with grabbing Yannica is just to have that really consistent, reliable arena nuker that's just going to erase one or more opponents off the face of the earth immediately, turn 1 in your arena games, and just get those super easy round wins. And again, just to drive this home, it's really super easy to grab Yannica. You just do clan quests, save up your goddamn gold, head on into the clan shop, and there's their fragments right there. Obviously, you can only buy 1 of these every day, I believe, but you can just work your way towards it quite reliably and consistently, and easy stuff. Obviously, the clan that I'm in is only level 2 because it's a new clan. It's called GL Bootcamp. You should totally join, by the way, if you're a beginner. And yeah, come progress with us. It's going to be awesome. In fact, now's a pretty good time to note that if you are a beginner, then, oh man, do I have something for you. If you are just getting started with your Raid Shadow Legends account, you can go ahead and begin that account by clicking the link down below right now to begin your account with this here free epic champion by the name of Juliana. Not only will you unlock Juliana for free at level 15 if you begin your account using my code, but you'll also be starting out with 500k starting silver and a bunch of other starting resources as well, man. It's awesome, the only correct way to start off your happy Raid Shadow Legends account, man. And now, next up in the Dark Elves faction, we have, oh yes, it's only Dark Kayle. But you know what? He's an epic champion. What's he doing on this list? Maybe I should have just thrown him in as like an honorable mention or something, but I did just want to include him in the list anyway, even though he's only an epic, just because I think his kit is it's just a legendary champion's kit. It just seems so goddamn good. So you can get your hands on Dark Kayle by farming the crap out of Doom Tower secret rooms, and dude, his kit is just unbelievable, right? Dude, check this out, right? Okay, so his A3, Reality Acid, Acid Rain, similar to regular Kayle's A3, right? Chance of placing poison debuffs. Cool, right? It also comes with poison sensitivity, however, which is just pretty goddamn tight. But, dude, check out his A1 as a boss killer, man. Attacks one enemy 3 times. Each hit has a small chance to instantly activate 2 poison debuffs, or 1 poison debuff and 1 HP burn debuff. Dude, the rate at which this guy can just melt. I mean, okay, yeah, like clan bosses is the most obvious target for Dark Kayle, right? But also Dragon's Lair. You know why, dude? I didn't even realize this, but the dragon boss, Dragon's Lair, right? That son of a gun has 15% crit rate. Check out the passive on Dark Kayle, man. Decrease the crit rate of enemies under 2 or more poison debuffs, which he should have active all the time, really, by 15%. You just nullify the crit rate completely of Dragon Boss in Dragon's Lair. That's just ridiculous, right? So hell, maybe he doesn't quite belong on this list, but you know what, man? His kit feels pretty legendary to me, so Dark Kayle, boys. Next up, we got Urost, or Urost, the Soul Cage, farmable once again in Doom Tower, and this guy is just a provoke spamming, damage mitigating, poison spreading machine of a frontline for your team. Honestly, the guy has some extremely long tooltips, so I'm not going to sit here and just rattle all of these off because that would get drab kind of quickly, but believe me, it all begins with the A3, right? Soul Bounty. This can be cranked down to a 3-turn cooldown, place a 25% strengthen buff on allies, which is just flat damage mitigation for 2 turns, and a 50% ally protection buff on all allies, except for this champion, for 2 turns. Now, this really comes into play when we read this squiggly little bit of his passive right here. Also, whenever he's attacked, he has a chance to apply poison to the attacker. But this bit right here, dude, whenever an ally is attacked while under a strengthen buff, which we should have already applied, right, as soon as possible, has a 50% chance of placing a provoke debuff on the attacker for 1 turn. So suddenly you're provoking the hell out of people, right? Then you read this bit right here. So suddenly enemies are attacking Urost, they're all taking poison debuffs. Now, increase this champion's max HP by 5% whenever an enemy receives damage from a poison debuff. This obviously does have a cap. Eventually you can't raise his max HP more than 50%. But still, this dude, in like longer fights, I can see just being an incredible frontline Giga Chad. Now, is he going to be like the best possible option at all times? Well, obviously not. But what he is free to acquire. And oh yeah, I actually totally forgot about his A1. So once this guy has like a crap load of max HP, you check out his A1, places a shield buff on this champion equal to 10% of this champion's max HP. For 2 turns, the shield's value increases by 1% for each poison debuff on the target. And so you can see how suddenly, dude, his A1 can actually scale to just be a ridiculous amount of shielding. Just get this guy. Now, next up, something a little bit easier to require. All you gotta do is play the game for 6 months and you will get your hands on good old Seal of the Drakes. How could we not include this lovely, lovely lady? She is kind of just the do-everything champ, right? She's got like some really, really strong debuffs, chance of decreasing target 10 meter by 15% on just her A1. She's got some AoE attack enemies 2 times, actually, with each hit having a 20% chance to place a stun. This can be cranked down to a 3-turn cooldown. Really, really good stuff. She has a revive plus ally protection buff. And then her passive is just flat sustain, healing allies by 10% of the max health at the start of each turn, and places a 30% increased speed buff on a random ally for 2 turns. How could we make this list and not include Seal of the Drakes, dude? It's just impossible. She really is the everything champ. And yeah, one of the better ones you'll be picking up on the free daily login rewards track. Now, next up, we head into the missions button. Missions track. There it is. Good old Arbiter. How can we not include Arbiter? It's not possible to make a video like this without including Arbiter, right? Ultimate turn-meter control, incredibly potent even in super late game arena teams. I mean, dude, just read this A3, man. Strong increased attack buff on all allies for 2 turns, then fills the turn meter of all allies by 30%, basically guaranteeing that if Arbiter goes first, then you best believe your entire team is going to attack in the arena before your opponents do. And the heal is honestly just kind of there. I guess that just makes it really valuable in a lot of PvE content as well, especially if you're still in like early days in your account. As soon as you get Arbiter, she's pretty much going to slot into almost all of your PvE teams until you find something a little bit better. But certainly for Arena, this gal is going to scale for a long, long time. What the hell does that passive do again? Oh, Jesus, man, I forgot all about this. Destiny's Call. Look at this thing. Dude, I forgot all about this, man. How the hell did I forget about this? Revives all dead allies to 35% health and then fills the 10 meters by a further 20%. And check it out, dude. Once ascended, grants an extra 10 to this champ if an ally was successfully revived. Dude, Arbiter is crazy as hell. And even if you're not going to grind all the way to Romantu or whatever in your missions track, progressing along and not falling behind like I have and getting your Arbiter secure, dude, is such a big deal. Dude, look at how young my account is, man. Oi, 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 oi. What it is to be a noob again, you know? And actually, I shouldn't be navigating away from the rewards track on the missions because, you know what, may as well cover Romantu while we're here as well. And so Romantu, just another absolute arena god. Gonna take you a long, long time to earn on the rewards track, but hey, technically free to play. Dude, check out this A3, man. Attack all enemies, has an 80% chance of removing all buffs from all enemies before attacking. Nutty as hell. Once it's ascended, it gets even better. Also has an 80% chance of placing a block active skills debuff for 2 turns, and a 80% chance of placing a block passive skills debuff for 2 turns. And when I say 80%, I actually mean 100%, right? Fully bucked. Mental. Dude, even this A2 is kind of ridiculous, right? Attack 1 enemy 4 times. Face it as a chance to... It's just like every debuff in the game gets applied to 1 enemy. If they survive the 4 attacks, that is. Just obviously a crazy, crazy powerful hero. For pretty obvious reasons, and definitely deserves his spot on this list. Alright, man, in a similar vein to Romantu, we couldn't really do a list like this without covering Mithrala Lifebane. Obviously, all kinds of fragments required for her, but... technically also free to play. Check out this A1, dude. This is the A1. Attacks 2 times at random. Each hit has an 80% chance, 100, of placing a 5% poison debuff for a couple turns. Obviously amazing stuff. The A2, though, is where it gets saucy, is where it gets nutty, is where it gets peanutty, dude. Especially in things like Hydra. Attack all enemies, hex debuff for 2 turns. You know, strong hexes against Hydra, man. In those longer battles in particular. Also places a 60% increased def and increase attack buff on allies. Both strong additions for a couple turns. Ridiculous. This A2 right here is just unbelievable, especially because it can be cranked down to a 3-turn cooldown, man. Insane, really. God, even at A3, man, remove all debuffs from all allies and then place Strengthen and Shield. Equal to 30% of this champ's max HP. It's just ridiculous. It's just never-ending ridiculousness with this hero, man. So, Mithrala, a champ worth covering. Next up, the time is now. Before we get to some honorable mentions, we gotta cover the Ultimate Faction Wars reward at the end of the rewards track, that being good old Lydia. So yeah, Lydia's A2 is just an affront to all that is good in the world. Check this out, dude. Sirens will attack all enemies. Good stat, right? And then just do everything, okay? 75%, or actually 100% chance of placing strong decreased defense, strong weakened debuffs for 2 turns to all enemies, and also places the strengthened buff and a strong increased speed buff on all allies for a couple of turns as well. Yeah, it's just like the everything ability, you know? Also, dude had passive. Like, what is this, man? I know that this is really, really good in some fights, but I have super limited knowledge of, like, super late game. And so I'm not sure how much, like, there's a revive meta and stuff in Arena and things like that. But, dude, Deathhold denies enemy revive attempts. This works even if she's dead, dude. Like, what even is this? It's a passive, man. This is just nonsense, right? And it's got all kinds of additional effects as well. If this champion is alive when an enemy revive is denied, revives all dead allies with 50% health and half their turn meter, and grants an extra turn instead if there are no dead allies. Ridiculous in every way. If this champion is dead when an enemy revive is denied, revive this champion with 50% health and 50% turn meter. Like, dude... There's some things that just feel like cheat codes. Literally, the Death Siren is one of them. Alright, man, it's honorable mentions time. And we gotta throw Carnage in the honorable mentions. Technically free. Gotta be blasting your way through Cursed City hard mode multiple times, I believe. Which, you know what, at the time of recording, nobody's done yet. Like, just like no one has this guy, as far as I'm aware. Yeah, he's ridiculous. A2, let's start there, shall we? Attacks one enemy 2 times. Before attacking, swaps HP with an enemy, then steals all buffs from them, and transfers all debuffs from this champion to the target. Places a seal debuff on the target for 2 turns. This debuff cannot be removed. Ridiculous. As if that wasn't enough, he transforms into, like, Giga Carnage. And, yeah, his abilities just get even more obscene. I mean, dude, the A3 attacks all enemies 2 times if a target is killed by the skill while not under 3 or more different debuffs. Places a block revive debuff on them. Also heals this champion for 30% of damage dealt, so it's just like a full heal. A2, attack all enemies, ignore shields, also ignores ally protections. Oh my god, it even ignores unkillable buffs when attacking enemies under 2 or more debuffs. Dude, like, what? Just, you're unkillable, dude? Carnage just laughs at that. This guy's ridiculous as hell. Like, technically free to play. Worth an honorable mention on the list, obviously. Next honorable mention, we gotta mention Chronum. Again, technically free to play. Acquired by the referral program, right? You gotta have friends, which, let's be real, man, who's got those? You know what I'm saying? Who has time for that? But yeah, pretty tough to get, even with the referral program, but that's how you want to grab him. Crazy HP burn champion, dude. His goddamn A3, attack all enemies, place HP burn debuff for 2 turns, also fills champion turn meter by 50% for each HP burn debuff placed by the skill. Nonsensical, his A3 attacks 3 times at random, and each hit has a 100% chance, actually, of instantly activating any HP burn debuffs on each target. This guy, when it comes to HP burn, absolute machine. Oh my god, and I just read his passive as well, dude. Every 10 times any active skills are used in battle by either enemy or allied champions, this champion just activates his A2 again and just starts just wailing on people like an absolute madman. Yeah. Chronum, ridiculously good, but let's be real, referral program and stuff, that stuff is hard, man. It's hard to engineer the conditions required to get this champ, and by that I mean have friends. And the next 2 free legendary champs I would be covering would actually probably be Armanz and Marius, but at the time of recording, those 2 nerds are not actually present in the game right now, so I can't really show them off a whole lot, but, you know, Marius, mission rewards track, working towards him over time, gonna take you a hell of a long time, very, very good arena champ, and Armanz, we're talking fragments. And hey man, now's a pretty good time to say, if you feel I've missed any of like the best free champs off of this list, go ahead and drop them down below in the comments, man. I'd be really, really curious to learn about them, see which ones you rate higher than me. That'd be really, really cool to know. I gotta finish up this list with the one, the only Lady Mikage. Dude, this champ, I actually couldn't even believe that this was a real champ. Well, I mean, I could when I was first reading her skills, But it's just, she's just ridiculous. I mean, dude, her A1 is a goddamn ally attack. I mean, her A2 attacks all enemies, decrease the duration of all enemy buffs and ally debuffs by 1 turn, and then increase the duration of all enemy debuffs and ally buffs by 1 turn. Absurd. You get this gal going like third or whatever, you know, in your party order. Absolutely obscene. Her A3 though is just, I mean, dude. Plays a strong increase attack buff and a strong increase critical damage buff on all allies for 2 turns. Then teams up with all allies to attack a single enemy. The allies joining the attack will use their default skills. You see what I mean? Like, this just doesn't seem real. And you know what, man? Let me check her spider skills as well while we're at it, because we might as well. Lady Mikage, dude. What an absolute dude. I'm just gonna consider, like, I've just finished the game if I get this champ, honestly. And dude, look at the controls she has in spider form, man. Attack all enemies, 100% chance, unless they're just immune, to place a stun debuff for 1 turn, and decrease 10 meters of all enemies by 30%. Insane, absurd, just stupidly powerful control. And then also the A3, increase attack buff, not bad. Also removes all buffs from all enemies. Like, that alone would just be insane, but also places a 25% weaken debuff on them for 2 turns. Yeah, Lady Mikage, absolutely insane. That said, also extremely hard to actually get your hands on. Super long-term fusion goal, but I mean, I don't know, can you really put anything besides this at the top of the list? I'm sure all of y'all will disagree with me. Let me know what you think down below, man. Hey, for now, we're gonna wrap this one up here. Remember, if you're starting off a fresh Raid Shadow Legends account, or if you know a friend who wants to start off a fresh Raid Shadow Legends account, have them do it, or do it yourself by clicking the link down below to kickstart your account with the free epic champion, Juliana. For now, thanks for watching, guys. Hope you all did enjoy this happy little top 10, and I'm gonna catch all of y'all just a tad bit later, man.